Hey traders, hey traders, how are you? I say hello to everybody. Hello to everybody. I'm sure you get me. I'm sure the audio quality is good. So we carry on. Here is Awesome Forex International as usual, and I'm Mr. Awesome. Yes, as usual, I've been blessed actually. So whenever blessing comes, I do something. Whenever blessing comes, I do something. So I've been blessed, and today, as usual, I'm carrying on with advanced Elliott wave. I need to rush the thing in order to complete the remaining sessions, and then will be time now for traders to practice, to keep on working, practicing concepts and other things. So that will be just time for questions. Maybe if you practice and you find that something's not maybe working, so you may ask any question about that idea, and then I will make it clear. So welcome back to Awesome Forex International, and here is our home page. Actually, for those who are using computers, they have access to this kind of view, so you can go straight to links to our social media. I remind you all the time, so you can hit any link there and it will take you straight to that particular area that you want to go. One most important thing is a broker here, LITEFOREX. You have a button for a broker. You can hit this and takes you directly to the reliable broker. So now, I don't like to consume too much time, as long as we know that we are going to advance the Elliott wave, and we are in 11th session. Today is 11th session now. It's 11th session here. 11th session out of 12 sessions that have been planned to complete the whole course. So we have left with just a single session now. So our today's session comes from what we call multiple wave relationships. Multiple wave relationships. How it sounds this? I'm sure some people maybe they already had the idea about multiple wave relationships and other things. So if you don't have an idea about this, keep in touch, stay tuned, wait for the concept now to get into your mind, to get into your head. So open your mind to get concept about the multiple wave relationships. So now multiple wave relationship, just it's like an analysis technique. I can say it like that, like an analysis technique. When you are working with you are analyzing market through wave principle, actually you have to play with the multiple wave relationship. Then multiple, it means many, so many wave relationships. Now various waves have got their own relationships, and I talked this when I was presenting in the last session when I was talking about wave ratios. So wave ratios, or the ratio analysis, actually we covered the idea that each wave has got a particular relationship with another. So when you take a relationship between one wave and another that maybe have aligned in a certain direction, it's where you get the multiple wave relationship. So this multiple wave relationship, it gives you a clue on a particular thing, either on the point where a correction is going to end, or a point at which a particular move is going to stop, maybe, or anything else. So now in multiple wave relationship, mainly we are going to deal with the idea of wave degrees. Actually, now it will correlate, now not totally with the idea of wave degrees, but it correlates with the idea of wave degrees, whereby in wave degrees, now I'll put some notes here. Now in wave degrees, here we are mainly dealing with things like mainly the general theme of wave degrees is all about magnitude of waves, magnitude of waves. So now various waves have got different magnitudes, whereby we have those of higher magnitudes, then we have those of smaller magnitudes. So those of smaller magnitudes, they are building blocks for those of higher magnitude. So that's how things operate. When a smaller magnitude wave degree gets completed, it will be just a part of that higher degree higher degree move. So those wave degrees based on Elliott wave actually are based on Elliott himself. Elliott discovered about 9 degrees. From what I know, it's about 9 degrees. Probably someone may have other degrees more than 9, but what I know is they're about 9. So I can just mention them without writing there. So we can have that a bigger magnitude is what we call the grand super degree. Then we had super cycle. Now this is just a smaller degree. I mean, it is 1 degree smaller to super. So as long as you are going down, it means the variation there is just a single degree. The difference is just a single degree. So super cycle, we have a cycle. Therefore, cycle is just a single degree smaller than a super cycle. Then you have primary, intermediate, and other things. So you'll pass through notes and then you find those things that are available actually. I don't need to spend much time talking about that. So now, those degrees, as I said, when a smaller degree is getting completed, it's when just a higher degree, it is just still underway. So understanding that and then applying it within charts, you'll be able to identify whether the move is getting completed or it is still in continuation. So now, what are the major relationships? Now let us see those who call the major relationships. Major wave relation. Major wave relations. Now, what are the major wave relations? Now, major wave relations, there are many relations, but I will mention some here. So the major wave relations is like wave number 2 is like wave number 2. It is actually, or it is usually normally 0.618 of wave 1. This is one of the major or the most common wave relationship. So we'll take one relationship and another relationship. So combining more than one relationship together in order to identify a particular point where the price is going to turn or do anything else. So it is what we call the multiple wave relationship, when you combine more than one type of relationship. So this is the first type of relationship. So we can have another type of relationship whereby this can be maybe in wave 4. Actually, the fourth wave is usually 0.3. Now, in most cases, it can vary. It is 0.32 of the third wave. It is 0.3 of the third wave. That is another type of relationship. So it may vary because when we're looking on wave, the ratio analysis, we covered other variations. We said we can have maybe 0.2 anything else. Or here in wave number 2, we have this 0.6. This is the golden ratio. But sometimes it can go beyond or it can be below. It can be 0.5 or it can be 0.78 or anything else. But this is the basic one. So now the third, another type of relationship which is very common is between the fifth wave and the first wave and the third. So usually the fifth wave, normally in most cases, the fifth wave is equal to 0.618 of 1 to 3 now. So if you measure Fibonacci extension, normally you can measure extension, which is most common. So if you measure extension from the first wave to the third, we expect the fifth wave to extend by 0.6118. It moves by now. It moves by 0.618 of the 1 to 3. This is another type of relationship. So combining those relationships that I'm listing here, it is where we get the multiple wave, when you combine more than one. So another basic relationship, maybe I will mention some and then I will show how to combine them when you are analyzing the market. So another form of wave relationship is on the second wave, whereby in the second wave, usually the second wave is corrective now. In the second wave, which is corrective, usually A equals to C. I think we covered this. When we were discussing about wave ratio analysis. So in wave 2, actually A equals to C, and basically if it is zigzag in most cases, if it is zigzag or regular flats, actually in irregular flats also can exhibit the A equals to C. But in the fourth wave also, there is a certain relationship there also. In the fourth wave, usually A also can be equal to C. In the fourth, usually fourth wave may take things like flats. So if it is a regular flat, you will have this A equals to C. Then in the second wave, which usually may take a form of zigzag, A may be also equal to C. And another thing that maybe I can put in a relationship here is in the fourth wave. Also in the fourth wave, wave B, actually when it is just correcting wave A, actually in the fourth wave, wave B equals to things like 0.2, it is 0.236 of wave A, 0.236 of wave A in the fourth wave. But if you come to the second wave, now I can add things there. In the second wave, usually wave B equals to 0. In most cases, I can put 0.6 actually. It may vary to 0. It can be 0.5 to 0.6. Now I'll put 0.5 there. It is 0.5 of wave A, of wave A. Now in the second wave, which is usually a zigzag, it may move to about 0.5 sometimes. It depends on how it has been structured. So now having those relationships whereby this 0.2 also it may exhibit in wave 2 or anything else, but now those are the basic relationships. Those are the most common relationships. So now being able to play with all those relationships in the market, now you will be doing what we call the multiple wave relationship. If you are playing with all of those types of relationship, because actually when the market is making a single move, actually all of those degrees of waves, they operate at the same time. When the market is moving, it means a grand super will be operating, a super cycle will be operating, a cycle, a primary, intermediate, minute, and other things, all of them, they are operating at the same time. But their completion actually is different, whereby those lower degrees, they are completed first, while they are acting as building blocks for those higher degrees. So now, in multiple wave relationship, we'll be playing with all those things together. So now, let's go to the concept to see how you may play with all of those relationships. When you are analyzing the market, how you are going to play with all of those types of relationships. So now let's take a scenario of an uptrend. As usual, I usually like to use uptrend. So in an uptrend, let's say now this is the first wave. So after completion of the first wave, we expect a correction in order to form the second wave. So correction in the second wave, I've said usually it may be a zigzag, but other forms of correction may take place in the second wave. So let's take a scenario of a zigzag now. So if the second wave is zigzag, as I said before, I think when I was presenting about zigzag, how to identify that the second wave will be zigzag, I said that once you find that wave 1 has get completed, then there is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move in opposite direction. When you find that there is a 5 wave move against the major trend, this doesn't mean a completion of correction. This is just a beginning of correction, and that type of correction is a zigzag. When you find that you have 5 wave move against that higher degree, but when you will find that you have the ABC against the higher degree, it means the next, the form of or the type of corrective structure there is flat if you have the ABC at the beginning. But if you have 5, it means the type of correction is zigzag. So now let's understand this idea of zigzag and then take and do an application of multiple wave relationships. So now, how things will go. After completion of those 5 waves, we expect the A, B, C to take place, whereby this A, B, C will be just a correcting this first wave move. So to trade a zigzag, so I'll be giving another thing here which is very valuable, how to trade a zigzag. So to trade a zigzag, after you have identified the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, then you have already recognized the ABC to the top. Usually we trade wave C in zigzag. That's the case. Usually we trade wave C in a zigzag. So in trading wave C, you must be aware of where to enter, and what's important enough is understanding where to leave, where to exit a trade. So where you are going to exit a trade, And how you are going to identify that now this is the point to exit a trade or to put your TP, take a profit. So understanding the point to put a take a profit, it relates with the idea of understanding the wave ratios, then applying what you call the multiple wave relationship. So how are you going to apply there? We'll have now, we're going exactly to what you're supposed to do now. Now the first thing now, or the first type of relationship that you are going to look, I analyzed or I listed those relationships at the beginning. So now the first type of relationship, if you need to trade a zigzag, now you need to trade wave C. Now when this was completed, this was just wave A, and ABC to the top, this was wave B. Now we need to trade wave C down. So now the first type of relationship that we are going to look here, or the ratio, the wave ratio that we are going to look here, is usually this wave A equals to wave C. That's they exhibit equality. Wave A and wave C in zigzag, they exhibit equality. That's the first form of relationship that you are going to look. So now if they exhibit equality, it means the distance traveled by wave A will be equal to the distance that wave C is going to travel. You see, distance traveled by wave A will be equal to that that's going to be traveled by wave C. So you will take your Fibonacci extension there, or Fibonacci expansion, and then you will read at 1. The extension or expansion of 1, or it may be expansion of 100. It is a 100 expansion or a 1 extension. 1.0. So now after having that 1.0 reading, it's now your first form of relationship that gives you a confirmation that price may get there. That's the first thing. So after having that, you will have another form of relationship. Relationship that you are going to look there. So another form of relationship that exists there in order to identify the point where this wave C is going to end. Now you will be looking on those internal waves. Now the building structure of those internal waves. Now the building structure of those internal waves, wave C actually is an impasse, or it can be a diagonal. You must be aware of that. So if it is an impasse or diagonal, it means it's made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if it's made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now what do we expect? We expect that it will start with wave 1. It will complete this wave 1. Then wave 1 will be corrected by the second wave, and then the third wave will come in. So now after having maybe the first, the second, and maybe you have the third wave down there, what we need to know is a point at which wave C will get completed. We need to make a projection, or we need to get a point where we'll put our take profit. So where are we going to put a take profit? So now after having the first, the second, probably the third has got completed, and it is correcting again. So you may develop another type of relationship there. You can develop another type of relationship, which is the second now. Now the second type of relationship, it can be something like the fifth now. You will be looking for the fifth wave down, which has not yet taken place. So now you look on the relationship between those first wave moves and the fifth wave, whereby a type of relationship that exists there is now the distance traveled from wave 1 to wave 3. Now no, I can put this in this way. Now the fifth wave equals to 0.618 of distance traveled by the first wave up to the third wave. Something like this. That's another form of relationship that you put there. So if equality now, let's go to the reality now. If equality now, when you played with this first type of relationship, if equality indicated that the 1.0, if it indicated that the 1.0 it's around this point, so now you will play with the second, you will measure Fibonacci tool in the second form of relationship here. So if the second form of relationship now, let me clear something there, let me clear things there so I can have a clear presentation here. So things goes here, and this is the third now. So it has corrected there. So now, if now you had this relationship and it shows this point, so in the second relationship also you will measure a 0.618. So you'll take a Fibonacci tool from this beginning to the top of the third, then down to the fourth. So if it reads at the same point, this will add confirmations. So usually we call it as confluence. So it will add the confluence. That there is high probability. There is high probability for the third wave, or for wave C now, to reach that point. So this fifth to this one, it is another form of relationship that you will use to project this. Also, you may use other forms of relationship. You can use the idea of equality. That's the third form of relationship, the idea of equality, whereby usually in an impasse like this, when the third wave is extended, another thing, when the third wave is extended, usually the first wave and the fifth wave, they play equality. So another form of relationship that we will look here is the first wave plays equality with the fifth wave if third wave is extended. If the third wave is extended, it plays equality. So that will be another form of relationship that you can play. You can play with it, and the idea of linking those things is what we call the multiple wave relationship. That's what we call the multiple wave relationship. So I can add the fourth now. The fourth, and I think this will be the last. I can add the fourth. The fourth form of relationship also that will add here in order to identify if it is it true that wave C can hit that point. You will add this type of relationship whereby usually the second wave is equal to, now in most cases the second wave is equal to 0.618 of the first wave. That is a correction now. Usually the second wave corrects to 0.618 of the first wave. So you will run a Fibonacci tool now. Again, you will run a Fibonacci tool from this point. Now this will be the correction, now a corrective structure now, a correction now. You will run up to this point, then it will read those levels of correction. So if you find that the level falls within the same area, if you find that a 0.618 falls within the same area, so it will add also a confluence about this wave C hitting this particular point. So now taking those relationships in any direction, either in an impasse or in a corrective form, in any way around. So when you take many wave relationship in identifying a particular point that we expect the price is going to touch or to turn or to do anything else, this is what we call a multiple wave relationship. And when you are using a wave principle is not all about counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you're supposed to go deeper to include the Fibonacci thing. Actually, if you need to trade profitably with the wave principle, you must include the Fibonacci things, because every wave have got a Fibonacci relationship with another. So that's how we do in what we call the multiple wave relationship. And that's all. I'm sure you have got me. So you will now, if you have not watched the last session, that's the 10th session about the ratio analysis. You have to watch that in order to be able to know those relationship among waves. After understanding relationship among waves, so you will come to apply multiple relationships now. This one relates with this by this ratio, this one with this by this ratio, so you incorporate things. So incorporate those things together. When you are incorporating them, you get what we call the multiple wave relationship. So make sure that you watch the previous session before watching this, if you have not watched the previous session. And also, we have left with one session now. We have left with the 12th session. It will be the 12th of the 12 to complete the whole course. So now make sure that you watch also the last one, because it has also got certain things that are very important to understand in order to apply the web principle profitably. Because someone may think that maybe, oh, this one is the top, this is everything, maybe multiple web relationship is the end. No, we still have certain things that we can incorporate with multiple web relationship, with the ratio analysis and other things, so we can carry on. So I'm through for today. I'm through, and I'm rushing in order to have just a very short video, because people are complaining about time, extended videos. So I'm through. I've used about around 25 minutes, so it's not too bad. So thank you for your time. Make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you share, make sure that you like, make sure that you put comment if you have any question. So that's all. Thank you for your time.